Well, good afternoon and thank you for coming. I'm Bill Carpenter, CEO for RTS. This is an important day for our Reimagine RTS project as we kick off phase 3 of the study. As you may recall, we met here in September of last year when we started the study. The study will end in August when our consultant, Transportation Management and Design, will provide us with their final report and recommendation for the public transit system here in Monroe County. The purpose of phase 3 is to share with the community the draft of what TMD recommends and gather feedback so we can continue the conversation we've been having about our transit system. To be clear, the consultant's presenting a recommendation for the first time. We're sharing it with RTS employees, with the board, and with the community. And the consultant is very much looking for feedback on what works and what doesn't work, what changes need to be made so they can make sure the final report is improved by feedback from everyone. After the final report is received in August, we'll work with our board and again back with the public to determine what the Reimagine RTS system will look like and when it will be implemented. No decisions have been made to this point. With Reimagine RTS, we're in the process of advancing the transit system to move people in high-demand areas frequently, reliably, and with greater ease while providing on-demand connections to more individuals and small groups. Let me just recap phases 1 and 2. In phase 1, we went out to the public. We conducted 2 surveys, gathered almost 12,000 gathered information from almost 12,000 people. The top priorities we heard were frequent service, faster, more direct trips, and 30-minute or less wait time. When people can do on-demand transit, that's where you really see people begin to gravitate towards transit and away from a personal car. The information we gathered during phase 1 was used to develop 5 guiding principles. These guiding principles were introduced in February, and they were used by TMD over the last several months to develop the draft recommended transit system. Aligning the draft proposed system with the guiding principles is how we'll align our new transit system with what the community has told us is their priorities. And based on TMD's analysis of our current transit system and best practices in the industry, they developed a mix of 3 transportation products they recommend we incorporate into our system. So here's a product mix. First, a frequent network. What they mean by a frequent network is where spontaneous, on-demand transit can be done. This is where a bus is coming every 15 minutes, and you just go outside and you know if you're trying to make a connection or just stepping from outside, you get to the transit center. On this route, I know I won't have to wait long. Currently in our system, sometimes the bus comes every 20 minutes and then, oh, here's a break where it's every 35 minutes and then here's a break where it's back to 25 minutes. And so trying to make connections can be very confusing. This would be regularly, every 15 minutes, this route is coming. Second, local service. And local service, again, buses that run 7 days a week on the same routes, on the same routes, the same way, and at peak time, they'll be running every 30 minutes. And then lastly, the community mobility zone. I'll talk a little bit more in just a minute. So the system frequency, again, they're recommending that we have 10 routes that have Monday through Friday, no less than 30-minute frequency. And during peak time, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., every 15 minutes those routes are running. From 6 p.m. to midnight, every 30 minutes. On the weekend, for most of the day, every 30 minutes, and then just at the beginning and end of the day, running once an hour. For the rest of the local service, peak time again is running every 30 minutes, at the beginning and end of the day, and on the weekend, every 60 minutes. So there'll be a large portion of the system, a large portion of the city, and I'll get to a map in just a minute, where you can get to a lot of different places very frequently. And these routes will run 7 days a week. Currently, we have some buses that run Monday through Friday, and then if you're on the weekend or you have a job that you take that you have a shift on Saturday or Sunday, well then you have to find another way to get there. And what we find is once people find another way to get there, sometimes Monday through Friday, they stick with the other way rather than the bus. So let me talk a little bit more on our system map. In orange are the 10 frequent routes. As you can see, they cover the high demand areas, the Lake Avenue, the Dewey Avenue, Hudson Avenue, East and West Main Street out to Chi Line, out to Strong Hospital, Lyle Avenue. So a good concentration throughout the city. Again, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. These buses are running every 15 minutes during the week, the rest of the day every 30 minutes. In blue, we have 20 routes that are running every half hour from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we've captured a large portion of the community with these two products. They've also recommended 2 crosstown routes along Ridge Road from the Walmart on West Ridge Road to Culver Ridge Plaza, and then a second crosstown route, and I think you can see it a little bit easier on our poster, but from Culver Ridge Plaza down Culver to Goodman at Parcells, Goodman to Elmwood, to Strong Hospital, to MCC, to Marketplace Mall. So you can start in East Arundecoy, get to Strong Hospital on one bus, or this crosses about 8 other routes, so that you can use that bus or the Ridge Road bus to make crosstown connections. And with the frequent network, now you can easily and predictably make your connections to know, hey, when I get off here, there'll be a bus here in 15 minutes. It'll be simple for me to plan my trip. 95% of our current trips, our current customers, are served by this network. 64% of our customers are currently served by what they're proposing as a frequent network. What they've done is taken a look at how people use the system now and develop a network where existing customers will have access to very frequent service. Great majority of our customers will have access to very good service. Now, there's also 5% of our customers that are not being served by mass transit if we went forward with this recommendation, and these are the community mobility zones. We're being challenged as a transportation authority. What are the products that work for small groups of people and for individuals to get them to their destination, either from the city to a distant location or from outside the community into the city? And those things look like business partnerships. We have over 70 business partnerships now. Shuttle services that we partner with a business and say, hey, we'll take you from one of these routes that are running every 30 minutes to get to shift change time. It could be something as simple as a van pool for the business, and then certainly on-demand services that are available in the community like Uber and Lyft. They can connect someone into the frequent transit zone. So there's a lot going on here. Let me just summarize it here on the left. The 10 frequent networks, 64% of our customers, a third of all jobs in the community are served by the frequent network. It's simplified local service. If it works on Monday, it works on Sunday. How it goes out on Monday is the same as how it goes out on Thursday throughout the day. So much simpler for people to plan their trips. Crosstown connections, connection hubs to be developed. So this is where, as we see the connections, crosstown, where are people looking to transfer? We want to build those out so they're safe and comfortable for people. And then working with our customers over the next few months and then ongoing with the community, what are those customized products so that we move people on demand to use our transit system? So this is all about a conversation with the community. This is the draft that the consultant is recommending. He's saying, geez, I'm the consultant from outside of town. I've got a lot of your information, but I really don't know exactly how people use your system. Let's have a conversation. Well, how do we have a conversation? We've got to sit down with customers, and over the next 6 weeks, we've got 60 times where we're meeting with the community. 3 public meetings, 29 times at the transit center. There's one at 2 o'clock today out at Arundecoy Plaza. We're just going out to the bus stop there. It's a major transfer point for a number of our routes. What do you think? How would this recommended plan work for you? We also have on our website what we call a microsite specific to RTS Reimagine, and encourage you to take a look at this. We've got all the information. We've got a Google map. So the map that we're just looking at doesn't have street names. Hard to get street names into a PowerPoint. But on the website, you can drill down and see exactly where do you live. How would I get to where my destinations are and see what's a frequent trip? How easily can I connect? Then there's a survey. If this was a system that we had, would you use it less frequently, more frequently, or about the same? What do you like? What could be improved? So a lot of information, much more than you can do just with a PowerPoint presentation. And because each person uses our network, our system individually, at the website you can go through the information individually, find out exactly how it's going to work for you. So the next steps, May and June, we're looking for this conversation with the community. We'll get a final report from the consultant in August. And then once we have the final report, we'll work with the board. What do you think we should recommend? Go back out to the community and say, here's what our board is asking us to implement, and here's a time frame for it. What do you think? And then look for final board approval. So this is a great step forward for the study and towards better mobility in Monroe County. A transit system like this would be easier to understand and use. It would be more frequent and more reliable for more people. The draft network is out, everyone. Take a look at it. Phase 3 of the study is all about a conversation with the community about what works better than we have now, what doesn't work, and what could be improved. What would you like? What were you hoping for? We want to get that feedback. Go to the website, come to one of our events. All the events are listed on our website. Let us know what you think. With Reimagine RTS, we're advancing the transit system